All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guests. I, of course, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today, AOC can't speak. Code switching and just proving that she's one of the worst speakers in the world. I'm only going to be on that for a little bit, then I'm going to move on to Rachel Zegler winning an award for some such. I don't know. I never pre-watch Vera Dark's, well, I do sometimes, but I didn't watch this one, but it caught my interest, and I'm trying to stay away from horrible, horrifying news, at least for a little bit. And on to more entertaining news that does have a little bit of politics in it. Angry Joe takes on the entire right, centrist, and honestly left centrist community over White House memes with Master Chief. Basically, the White House making a joke that it ended the console wars and that it's one more ended war in Trump's belt. It was actually pretty funny. I ain't gonna lie. But some people took offense, such as Angry Joe. Angry Joe got as angry. Well, I'll make that. Well, I'll say it now. Angry Joe got as pissed off about it as he claims the chuds get mad over seeing overly DEI things in video games. I will say that there are those who do get mad every time they see someone who does not look like them in video games. That is not the majority of people who get mad. Most of them get mad because they use basically anyone who's not white as human shields. Well, actually, white people, women, the LGBT community, they use them as human shields from all criticism. When they're supposed to be, I mean, they're holding them up, but they're holding them up in front of them. They're not holding them up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get on to this. AOC can't speak.
Of 34 felony counts of fraud.
I don't know how people can listen to her talk. I've listened to a couple of her little speeches and conversations. It's hard to listen to. And she code switches like a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. I do too a little bit, depending on who I've been talking to. You should. The two funniest ones. I had a Jamaican sergeant, and then an Australian buddy of mine, who was also one of my sergeants. Those are the funniest ones. But let's continue.
Liable for sexual abuse.
Factual.
Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the big one. I was skimming through this video because I don't like listening to Benny Johnson a whole lot. He's like Milo Yiannopoulos without the gayness. But he's a bit of a grifter. I'm not saying, but I haven't watched him. Like, I never saw anything he did before Charlie Kirk died, really. I saw a few short clips, but he makes a couple good points here and there. It's funny watching him on the Greta Thunberg thing, but let's continue.
When he talks
I wanna
about
listen to that one more time.
abusing and manipulating the stock market too.
Like, what even is that inflection? Anyway.
Manipulating the stock market too.
Yeah.
It's so painful. Anyway, sorry.
When he talks about rapists and criminals, he should
Sounds like one of those
mirror.
jibba jabbers from the 90s.
Yeah.
Look at her. Look at these eyes.
AOC kicks off Zorhan Mandami. Okay, so did she take a private jet to this too? Everyone needs to figure this
The crazy ones, New York City.
She says with those eyes.
We are not the outlandish ones, New York City. They want us to think we are crazy. We are sane.
Yeah.
Keep looking down.
Yeah. AOC having a meltdown here.
Yeah.
Famine, Italians flee.
Energy is prevalent in South. What were the Latinos fleeing, AOC?
Hold on.
A better life. Native peoples costs. Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow. Latinos seeking a better life. Native people standing for themselves. Asian.
You know what's amazing here? Latinos fleeing a better life. What were the Latinos fleeing, AOC? What ideology is prevalent in South America? What were Latinos fleeing exactly? all of the
communism. Anyway, so that's all that. I just wanted to have a little levity here at the beginning. AOC is a mountain of comedy. Whether you like her politics or not, you have to admit she needs to stop talking so much. She's not good at it. And no, this isn't a women thing. I know a lot of intelligent women. AOC's not one of them. For some reason, a lot of intelligent women I do know happen to be pretty fond of her, which makes me question their particular intelligence. But I really think it's just because she's loud. And as anyone who's been to a bar or a club, loud women love loud women. At least watching them on TV. They don't like them in person because they have to be the loudest. It's like Highlander for sound. But let's continue to Toxic Brat. Rachel Zegler has
very quickly become a Hollywood it girl because she is not afraid to use her.
She's not, though. She's really not. She's a loud, obnoxious twat who is... It's like athletes. I'm tired of pretending that female athletes are 10s when they're clearly 5s and 6s at best. That being said, what's the Angel Reese? Angel Reese is a 5. I'm sorry. She just is. At least as far as from the neck up. From the neck up, she's like a 2. The rest, say what you want, whatever. But that's not what she's here for. She's here to play basketball, and she's not great at it. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. But this girl, And I think it's mostly because I've heard her talk a lot, and she's got white girl who lives on a hill vibes very heavily. Like overprivileged white girl. That's the vibe I get from this girl. It's obnoxious, and it brings her down a bunch.
Platform to push social justice.
And all these were flops. Like even West Side Story, her big breakout role, she did fantastic. Her singing's great. Her acting's not great. And then for Evita, she literally goes to the balcony outside, which is great for the cameras, but not for the people who paid for tickets. They were very pissed off that they got to see that on TV, and the people outside who didn't pay shit. Helen Mirren, the actress? Anyway, sorry.
She is somebody who is not afraid to voice her opinions online. She's not afraid to...
I mean, when you're retarded, you're not afraid to be retarded in public. Just saying, they are fearless people.
Attack her haters, and she now is being nominated as Woman of the Year. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube.
Definitely go subscribe to Vera Dark. She does a lot of work. She does good work, and she's very active. Well, pretty active on X. She's very active on here. She does at least 2 videos a day, I'm pretty sure.
Memberships. Now, we all have been talking about Rachel Zegler because she's been in Hollywood failure after failure after failure, but she is somebody who they continue to push into the spotlight because she's an activist. She's not afraid to voice her opinions, and she's not afraid to attack the chuds, and that is exactly what they are talking about in this article. They're saying she's Woman of the Year, she's been nominated, she deserves
for what?
So much credit, but yet they sit here and attack her critics. And I think that
she's a great singer. Rachel Zegler is an amazing singer. You can't take that away from her. You really can't. Love it or hate it, she was, well, her singing was the best part of the Snow White movie. Her acting was not, but it was still better than Gal Gadot. But at least Gal Gadot's not going around completely ruining the movie for everyone. And all the reshoots and the fact that they poured like $400 million into Snow White, mostly animating dwarves into it because they weren't in the original script, instead of hiring dwarves in real life. They made a bunch of CG dwarves, and that's what the hell's happening?
this is always so hilarious because sure, she can sing pretty well. I wouldn't say she's the best singer ever.
Well, not
She's
the
got
best,
a
but
pretty
she's
powerful voice, and they could just
for someone in movies, she's got a really good voice. Definitely can tell where she started.
talk about her talent, but instead they decide to go on and on about her time at Disney, about how people were so mean to her, and they even compare her to Princess Diana, which is absolutely wild.
Princess
So
Diana
this
was
is an
kind.
article by Glamour. It says Rachel Zegler, Fire and Grace, from West Side Story to Snow White to Evita, the rising star.
Princess Diana was a regular person who married royalty, I'm pretty sure. And she was ostracized by the crown, but loved by millions. Rachel Zegler's not even close to that. Rachel Zegler's loved by the elites. It's as simple as that. She's not liked by the regular people.
Star is building a powerful platform, and she isn't afraid to use it. I'm not going to read this entire thing because, as you can see, it's pretty freaking long. I mean, they're really sitting here doing their best to shill for Disney and Hollywood, and it's not really that shocking. But of course, when you're damage controlling for an actress because you happen to like her activism, yeah, that's going to get called out. So it says Rachel Zegler has had a year of two halves. She started it as a Disney princess who was labeled something of a bad apple by tabloid press and is ending it revered as the West End frontwoman du jour, playing one of history's most divisive characters, Ava Perrin, which I think is so funny that they start off with that because she is a bad apple. She is somebody who attacks fans of the series and the content she's working on. She is somebody who wears no tears left to cry sweaters to try to own the haters. She's somebody who goes on social media and tries to act like the victim. She needed better PR way sooner than Disney gave it.
Well, yeah, and this is why you always need someone who's your PR manager to tell you when to shut up. This has always been a thing. Not only for companies, but also for actors and actresses. They have, I think they're called, PR managers. And, they tell you when and what to say. You are not your own. You are owned by the companies who you work for, especially when you're on tour, a press tour for the movie that you are working on or just finished working on. You do not put your own personal stuff in it, unless they ask you personally about yourself. And even then, it is very sanitized to whatever current dominant thing is. You do not ostracize your audience, ever. Because it all comes back on the company and why they let you say these things. That's just how it is.
To her, she needs to learn that she is representing a product, representing a company. And I'm not saying that, she can't voice any of her opinions online, but you don't attack the people you need to make money from. And that's exactly what she did. So it talks about how audiences descended in droves to watch her sing Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, now restaged ingeniously for the public on the London Palladium balcony. To say that hearts have been stolen is an understatement, and it's hard to think of a more dramatic reversal of public opinion since Princess Diana came out in that revenge dress. There's no way you are actually legitimately comparing Rachel Zegler to Princess fucking Diana. That is wild. It just goes to show that it's not about actually being honest.
With the ugliest
it's
people
about
on that
damage
cover magazine with
for
her.
this actress because they like her.
And I'm an ugly person.
It was her casting as the princess
But
in
I'm
the
aware of it.
2025 live-action Disney reboot Snow White that truly positioned Zegler as a new kind of star, young, outspoken, and unwilling to kowtow to parts of the Hollywood machine that might prefer
Kowtow.
women to sit down, shut up, and be grateful. now. This is basically Glamour just saying, yes, queen, continue to be extremely divisive, continue to ruin your public image, because that is exactly what Rachel Zegler did. Nobody said that she couldn't have any opinions, but she was, first of all, acting in a children's movie, so you'd think that she would actually want to have a good public image. But putting even that aside, she shouldn't have come out and called the original weird, said that the prince was creepy, said that he was a stalker, attacking the original material.
Completely breaking it down. Not as much as the writers for this one did, because it's not even Snow White. Most of the times, especially with these remakes and such, they'll do the very bare minimum that they have to. This one, it was almost unrecognizable, except for the names. Even after all the edits, and they brought back the dwarves and such. And they put the prince back in, even though he was a bandit, not a prince. But they kept in all the toxic stuff that they deemed toxic. But they also kept in all the other toxic stuff. It was an abortion, which is probably why they loved it.
Is instantly going to push people away. Yeah, how did Snow White do at the box office? Not very good, and that is partially because of Rachel Zegler. Sure, she didn't write the script. It's not her decision what lines made it into the movie, but we did hear that during production, she was basically demanding certain changes, that the romance be minimized a little bit, and she got her way. Keep in mind, this movie made $205 million at the box office, and it needed to make $250 million to even cover Disney's costs. So this movie was a complete and utter failure. And maybe it's because Rachel Zegler was attacking people. Maybe it's because she wasn't actually acting like an actress who people take seriously. She was acting like a child on social media. It says first came the right-wing backlash against someone of Latina descent. Her mother was born in the U.S. to Colombian immigrants, playing a princess with skin as white as snow. It would have been perfectly fine if they, I don't know, made a new character that she fit the description of, hired her to play a character she fit the description of, but she didn't. You shouldn't rewrite and completely ignore certain very important elements of characters in order to hire somebody like Rachel Zegler.
Yeah.
If you really believe...
And that's the biggest thing. Look, say what you want about Black Little Mermaid or anything like that. For Snow White, and they did the dumbest thing ever in the movie. They said that they named her Snow White because she was born during a snowstorm. I shudder to think what she would have been named if it had been a hurricane. But let's continue. It's dumb. It's really, really, really dumb. Don't get me wrong. It's not as bad as Gal Gadot's acting. Although she's not problematic, she just happens to be Israeli, which for a lot of people, we call them anti-Semites. That's problematic by itself. But let's continue.
That she's talented, put her in a different role and allow her to thrive, allow her to make her mark on your company and on a series and in Hollywood. But instead, they didn't do that. They knew she was probably going to face backlash the same way Halle Bailey did. She is also a pretty good singer, but she didn't fit the description of Ariel. And this is why all of their movies have failed, because these characters don't fit the description. They're modernized slop fests, and nobody wants to support actresses that take to social media and go into interviews and attack the original fan base. That's terrible. They shouldn't be doing it. They frame her as the victim for facing backlash over her statements about Prince Charming being a guy who literally stalks Snow White, saying always remember Free Palestine on X after the release of the film's trailer, and she was frequently blamed for the film's stumble at the box office. I don't think she's the only reason why this movie failed, but I do think that she's at least 50% of the reason. Honestly, I'm a duck, she says today of criticism. It rolls right off my back these days. Her candor hasn't been dented. This is a woman who clearly feels and cares deeply about the world. Zegler still thinks it's important for actors to speak freely, and I think this is so funny that they believe she's being genuine, even though she's an actress. It's her job to act. Maybe she's actually a half-decent actress. I don't know. I've never seen her in anything that I've personally enjoyed her in. I think she's got a good voice. I think she'd do amazing
she does.
On Broadway, and of course, she's done some plays. She played Eva Perrin, which she apparently did a really good job at. I personally believe that they are positioning her to play Christine in Phantom of the Opera. Andrew
Oh,
Lloyd Webber seems to
God.
really like her. I don't know if she'd be a good pick for that role either, but for having
No, she
opinions while
won't.
being good at her job, she's been branded controversial by tabloids. What keeps her grounded despite all the noise? My love for the work. I am the one who showed up and did my work every day. Nobody can ever take that away from me. I made lifelong friends on that job. She says of her experience of Snow White, that's kind of family that doesn't get dissipated by online discourse. She also talks about Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and how she made some friends on that set. So really,
I will
they
say at least
start
that
off with
movie
just
didn't
talking
bomb
about
because
how
she
she's
was
a
in it.
victim and everyone's been mean to her, but the haters aren't gonna keep her down. The rest is really just talking about her career and singing and acting, and how she's talking about that, you know, you need to have complete control over your performance and you're showing the audience your version of the final cut every night. She doesn't really talk anymore about, you know, the backlash, but it starts off that way, which is wild. They thought that this was really going to be a good decision, that they thought, you know what, let's add all this about her being a victim into this piece, but it's not really that shocking, I suppose, given Hollywood has really wanted to prop her up over the years. So it seems Rachel
But it's not
Zegler
working.
cannot stop making controversial statements and attacking her critics, because now she's gone into another interview and they've made that a pretty big focus.
Sorry, I just realized I was sniffing
but that's
into
all
the
that I really had
microphone.
to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.
All right,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, so it's
because she does multiple a day. But go on over there and give some of Vera's videos a like. She definitely deserves it. She works hard over there, and she does a really good job. But yeah, Rachel Zegler is literally the worst. She's the worst thing about Hollywood. All wrapped up in a single person. And it has nothing to do with her ethnicity or her gender. It's all got to do with who she is as a person, which is awful. I'm just saying. But anyway, let's continue to see what Mr. Hypnotic has on his coverage of what happened with Angry Joe and Smash JT and a bunch of other people on X yesterday. Gotta love internet drama.
Covering the absolute meltdown that has been happening over the U.S. government deciding to use Halo images in a call to destroy illegal. And again, I have to make sure that I have to fix this article from PC Gamer that is going to be heavily favored to one particular side, because, well, we already know how PC Gamer goes. Illegal immigration. Microsoft declines to comment. Now, why would Microsoft comment when Microsoft wasn't even the one that put the image out there? I don't understand. Like, you are literally tattletaling about the government to Microsoft. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, we're going to go over this article. We're also going to go over the meltdowns from Angry Joe. We also got Khalif Adams that we got to go over as well. People are just losing their minds because suddenly the people who were all for politics in video games now all of a sudden don't like when there's politics being used with video game characters, but they're not actually in the games. Like, I want to remind people that are melting down right now about Donald Trump as Master Chief. I just want to remind people Donald Trump is not in Halo. Okay, he's not in Halo. He's not in the game. There's nothing about Donald Trump in the game. There's nothing about anything in the game related to the White House or any of that. It's literally just memes. But we all know that they don't like memes. So let's go over this. The social media post also included an image of U.S. President.
And since when, this has been a recent development, since when can the left not meme? Is it because it was all the center lefties, or the ones that have been ostracized by the extreme left? Were they all the good memers? Because now the left can't meme for shit. I'm not saying the right's good at it, but the people in the middle, like myself, seem to be the only people that can meme anymore. I don't understand. It's killing me.
Donald Trump dressed up as Master Chief. Now, this is probably going to be my thumbnail for this video, so you guys pretty much already saw this picture, but if you didn't,
it's amazing.
Look at the picture, and it's hilarious. It's obviously AI. Everybody can tell that from a mile away. There's not even the right amount of stars on the flag. Like, it's a joke. It's meant to be a literal joke, but people don't like jokes. Just a few days ago, after the surprise announcement of Halo campaign evolved, the U.S. government has co-opted imagery from the game to promote its efforts to deport millions of people from the country. And again, PC Gamer does not specify.
Okay, so that part did happen, but the original announcement, And the reason it happened was because a White House staffer saw that people were saying that the video game wars were over, the console wars were over, because Halo is now on PlayStation. It's coming out on PlayStation. The new Halo remake is coming out on PlayStation, and that is why people are saying the console wars are over. So some right wing and some of the center people who have senses of humor said, "Oh, look at that. Another war that President Trump helped stop." He didn't help stop. It just happened to stop within his little time span of presidency. But that was basically it. And then ICE did what they do and kind of usurped that. And then it all became about that. And then here we go.
That these are illegal people. They don't want to actually tell you. And this is why gaming journalists lose, right? Because they want to convince you that it's
all journalists,
legal citizens that are getting rounded up and thrown out of the country. They don't want to tell you that it's illegal citizens getting rounded up because, well, that doesn't fit the narrative, right?
And it is all illegal citizens. Everything that you hear, and I've researched this, because anytime, I don't care if it's left or right, anytime government do bad thing, I say bad government, and that's basically it. Because what can I do? I'm just a dude in his office making crappy videos that really no one watches except for hi fellas, or ladies, whatever. But yeah, but I have no dog in this fight really. The pendulum swings back and forth every time. But I'm not going to get too into that, talking about how every time the left or the right gives themselves a bunch of powers when they're in power, like, oh man, we're going to be in power forever. And then they give themselves a bunch more power, especially in the executive branch. And then the other side comes into power and they get mad that the other side is using the power that they had granted in the previous administration's time, and that they're using it. Oh no, maybe, just maybe, we should leave it the way that it originally was, with a lot less executive orders and a lot more legislation. We don't ever get any legislation because all these people just want to stay in office. They do not care. And this is why we should have term limits, because they just want to stay in office.
So in any case, to promote its efforts to deport millions of people to the country, the Post continues a pattern by the Trump administration of co-opting copyrighted material without permission for use as propaganda. Now, again, they tried to do this whole tattletale thing with Nintendo when ICE and
PC Gamer used to stand for personal computer. Now it stands for politically correct. They didn't even have to rebrand. It's beautiful.
ended up using the Pokemon intro as a funny video, and they used the song and everything as well to do it. It was hilarious. It was a hilarious meme. But I mean, this is where we're at right now at this point. They're clearly very upset.
Do I think that the government should meme and do all these things? No. It's not very representative of the office for J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, ICE, all these organizations to do these things. Is it hilarious? Yes, 100%, because they're good at it. And then the left cries that they do it, and then they go and do it themselves, but shittier.
Over it. It began last Saturday on X with a sort of faux diplomatic communique from GameStop. By the way, GameStop's involved in all this too. And whoever's running GameStop's social media profile, I don't know who's in charge of it, but whoever it is, you're doing an amazing job. Just FYI, you're actually pretty damn funny. From GameStop declaring the end of the console wars brought about by the announcement that the Halo remake is headed to the PlayStation 5. In response, the White House, yes, the actual real White House, see the power of the world's last remaining superpower. Last remaining superpower is insane, by the way. Do you really believe that we are the last? Anyway, posted an AI.
We are not. Russia's up there, but they're hemorrhaging money left and right because. And how you can hemorrhage this much money when you treat your people as fodder and like they're not actually there is astounding to me. Same thing with China. China, if they treated their people the way that we treat our people, then they would not be a superpower. Or maybe they would. Maybe they would thrive. But yes, we are, and we're even floundering as is. We have the most hope, but we are not the world's only superpower. But I don't want to get into the immigration thing any more than it already is here.
Generated image of U.S. President Donald Trump as Master Chief. Presumably,
What does that have to do with it? That's what I was going to go into.
For persistent claim that he has now ended 8 wars in just 8 months. So again, all of this is going to be a massive meltdown of politics from a gaming website, right? So PC Gamer is not liking the fact that the White House is utilizing this. Now, I'm going to make one thing very clear, okay? I'm going to make one thing extremely clear in this video. You know it. I know it. They know it.
It's
the
hilarious.
world knows it. The universe knows it. The alien knows it. If it was Joe Biden in the Master Chief armor, the people that are currently complaining right now would be celebrating. If it was Kamala Harris that was in the Master Chief armor, you know for a fact they would be celebrating it. They would be.
Ew, can you imagine having Kamala Harris as your shit? I just had the name of the AI as your Cortana. Anyway,
sharing it everywhere. They would be mentioning the last remaining superpower. Oh, it's an official government site. Why are they doing? They wouldn't be doing any of that. They're only doing it because it's Donald Trump doing it, and they don't like him.
That is true.
That's it. That's the only reason why. Well, everybody knows
that is true. The only platform that the hard left has, and let's be honest, they're the ones in charge of the Democrat Party right now, which is unfortunate for all normal liberals like myself. But yeah, they're the ones in charge, and they have no platform other than Trump bad. And the sad thing is, most of the points that they have are either made up or they've played a game of telephone and heard allegations and ran with them and just kind of charged them anyway. The 34 felony counts were misdemeanors. First of all, they're only felonies if they're in... if they prop up, I think it's like an original crime, like there's a crime, and these other 34 counts, which are misdemeanors, are in. I can't think of the word. I'm sorry. It's still early, but they're a part of that crime. Shit, the words. It's gonna bother me. But yeah, those are not felonies. Those are misdemeanors. Improperly boosted into felonies because there's no initial crime. Oh crap, that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna play the video and look that up.
Knows that's the case. We all know that's obvious, right? Even unidentified species know that that's true. So I don't take these people seriously when they come out here and they start complaining about a fucking meme on the White House page, pretending as if they would not be sharing this around, calling it hilarious, stunning, and brave if this was anybody else that votes Democrat aside from Trump. But this is what it is. So and just two people in particular that tend to have really bad meltdowns over this. Angry Joe is unfortunately one of them. So Angry Joe is somebody I used to watch for a long time, and I have no problems again with his content. I think his reviews are very good for the most part. I think they're fun.
Yeah.
I think they're entertaining.
No, and I watch Angry Joe all the time. I think he's great. He's a pioneer when it comes to YouTube and the whole space. He's great, but he's too close to this one because I'm sure he's got family who's over here or something, or he's got friends or something, or even other Joe. But I understand his frustration, but he needs to ease back a little bit. He himself has been put upon by the hard left, which is why he's as normal as he is, but he still has his issues with stuff like this. But let's continue. And I understand his complaints with this, because I don't like it when the government does it, but it's pretty funny when when they have been doing it. Let's be honest.
And he makes good stuff, in my opinion. But unfortunately, Angry Joe on Twitter is just a completely different person. I don't follow him for obvious reasons because, well, his Twitter account is literally just melting down over TDS. Like it's maximum levels of TDS, and that's all I can really say. And he's allowed to do that. It's his Twitter account, whatever, which is why I don't follow him. But every once in a while, his posts will pop up on my page because that's just how X works, right? Especially if it's something relevant. And this is something that's relevant. So he ends up posting the following, and I quote, fuck ICE. Okay. Fuck Donald Trump. Get the fuck out of here with using Halo for your shitty dehumanizing police state propaganda. No one thinks your shit is cool besides low IQ, Her MAGA cult members on X. Again, I'm not MAGA. I'm not any of that. I think it's funny. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people watching this video right now that would not classify themselves as MAGA that would think it's funny. So again, I think this is like a comment that is just from someone who wants to make it seem as if, I don't know, his worldview is the only worldview when it's not, right? Just like my worldview is not the only worldview. I know that. Everybody should know that. Like, the way that you view the world is not how the entire world views the world, right? Everybody's perception is different. So this kind of comment, this kind of like meltdown comes from this level of like, oh, my worldview is the worldview. And I know everything, right? And nobody knows everything. Anyway, no one thinks your shit is cool besides the low IQ MAGA members, half of which are bots. Oh, so if they're bots,
I'm not a MAGA member. I'm low IQ, but I'm not a MAGA member. But I think it's funny. It just is. The Pokemon one especially was really funny, especially since they put the cards at the end. Come on, man. Like, even if you think it's fucked up, because it's fucked up. It is so fucked up. But it's funny. Can't help it.
Why are you complaining about it? I don't understand. Why are you complaining about it if half of them are bots? Why are you engaging with half bots? I don't understand. Y'all are gonna find out soon in the next election. Oh man. So okay, so now we're just saying that, you know, Republicans are gonna be out, Democrats are gonna go in, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, whatever. Y'all are gonna find out. Yeah, you're gonna find out because you decided to make Halo destroy the flood. Join ice.gov. This is genuinely hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is actually genuinely hilarious. And just seeing the meltdown is a beautiful thing. Now, I looked at this post. It's got almost 1 million views, and anytime Angry Joe tends to have a little bit of a melty melt, it tends to go viral. And of course, he actually quote tweeted Jeremy. We're going to talk about this in a second. This is hilarious, but Jeremy ends up posting a picture.
That's amazing.
Of fat JD Vance.
The JD Vance memes are definitely peak internet right now. I love it.
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. He posted a picture of fat JD Vance, obviously in the Spartan armor. Fucking great, by the way. 6K likes. And Debian says, tell me you know nothing about Halo without telling me, Joe. Halo is a Christian game, so them using it as conservatives makes complete sense, you moron. Again, the whole symbolism argument, I don't care about that, bro. Halo's
and look, you can make your point, but please stop with especially when it's someone who, for the most part, isn't your enemy. Stop with the name calling. This goes to Endymion. This goes to Joe. This goes to everybody involved in this. The name calling's not necessary. I do it sometimes too, but I'm a nobody. I know that's not an excuse, but the more I become not a nobody, the less I'll do it, I'm sure, because I'll be able to do this full time, and I'll be able to play out my thoughts to where I won't have to include insults. But these people do this full time. Come on.
Halo. Okay, we need to stop this whole like XYZ game is XYZ because I view it as that, right? Just because it has symbolism from certain things doesn't mean that is what the story is. At the end of the day, it's a sci-fi story. It's fictional. Okay, it's not the fucking Bible. It's not anything like that. Let's just stop. Let's stop.
All right, and this is one of the reasons why I've grown so fond of Hypnotic over the few videos that I've seen from him. He has fairly base takes. He goes a little overboard sometimes, as most people do, but come on.
Because this is what the lefties do. The lefties is like, oh, this game is absolutely a story.
This game is woke. This game is Christian.
That is what the story is. I'm like, no, it's a game.
It's a way to be interpreted.
Game. Like, you know, can we stop? Like, we're hunting Sephiroth. We're not like, can you relax a little bit? I understand that there are themes. I get that, but it's a game. Like, let's calm down. Anyway, it's fine. Whatever. So again, I don't have a problem with what Endymion said. I just see this all the time. Kata says, you know good and well that the UNSC
I have a problem with it, and I like them,
but do far worse.
Yes.
Hey, little buddy,
yes.
Have you considered crying about it? From Old Man Grimm. Angry Badger, enforcing the laws is neither authoritarian nor
and the US and the UNSC, just because they're technically the good guys doesn't mean that they're good. They do a lot of fucked up shit, because when you get to a certain size and a certain whatever and a certain amount of government control, there's going to be bad things, because the government's in full control in situations like this. In pretty much every situation where space and sci-fi is involved, the government's in full control. And that's never good.
Police state, exactly. And again, guys, I just want to make it very clear that if this was put on Kamala Harris, or if this was put on anything else other than Donald Trump, this would not be a problem. Angry Joe would not be melting down right now.
This is true.
Khalif Adams would not be melting down right now. None of these guys will be melting down right now at all. This would not be an issue, right?
But they're all very melty.
Camelot says all these people are always hysterically screaming without delivering a well-measured and logical response, just screaming like children. It's a wonder no one takes them serious anymore. I agree. MAGA.
I agree to an extent. I still like
crazy,
Joe,
bro.
but he's known for being
Absolutely
angry,
crazy.
so it happens.
Bugle Daily. Hey, I find retards. We have another one. Tebow, you seem angry. Lucas, this
I
must
do
be
like
a very
I find
hard time for
retards.
you. Flood sympathizer. Alucard says, deal with it, bitch. No.
Yeah. I love the Vance memes, man.
I can't with this. This is so fucking funny. You people were all about force fucking gaming full of politics for the past decade. But now that the shoe's on the other foot, suddenly it's a problem. Weird how that works. You know what's I'm so glad you said that, Mike.
That's a good
I'm so
statement.
glad you said that, because we're going to go over to the next one. But really quick, I want to just kind of harp on what Mike said in the previous comment. So Mike is right, but he's also wrong. The shoe is not on the other foot, right? If the shoe was on the other foot, then that means that Donald Trump would be showing up in Halo's remake as a playable character. That is when the shoe would be on the other foot, okay? But
people use mainstream icons all the time. All the time. Even the governments use them. Do I like it? Not particularly. If it makes me laugh, it gives me a bit of softness for it. It makes me kind of okay with it. I still don't like it. But like I said, laughter is powerful. And if it's funny, it's funny. I'm sorry. If you don't find it funny, I apologize that your soul is full of doo-doo. Or that you're so driven by your hatred of the other side that you can't see how funny this is. It's hilarious.
Shoe is not on the other foot when all it is the White House making a meme of Master Chief utilizing Donald Trump. That is not being in the same foot, right?
And they only do it for two reasons. One reason, they love who they work for, and they love what they're using in their little memes and ads and such. Or two, they're using it to get the exact response out of you that they're getting. They want support from their supporters, and they want rage and chaos from the people who will always give it to them. If you really want to do something powerful, don't take the rage bait. That goes for both sides.
Right? When you have a Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example, and
the difference, I'm glad he said that. The difference between Dragon Age the Veilguard is because that they hijacked the franchise and they force-fed all their shit into the games. Before, in Western RPGs especially, being gay or whatever, it was an option based on your decisions in the game, based on your gender, based on who you wanted a romantic interest in, because you can pretty much, especially in the Mass Effect games and games like that, you can pretty much bang anybody. I haven't played as much of Dragon Age, but I'm sure it's there too because it's made by BioWare. But you can pretty much bang whoever you want, whether you're male or female, whether they're male or female, it doesn't matter. You can, and some of them it's harder to do the gay relationships, just like I'm sure it is in real life, or at least when the games were made. These days, who knows? I'm sure it's easier these days than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago when these games were made. But that's the point. These options were always there, whereas Dragon Age the Veilguard, you had to have the whole trans, gay, everything storyline. And it was the most linear game in a game that was always known for, while yes, there's some linearity, for being pretty open to let you, at least as far as conversation-wise, have your own choice. But in this game, no matter what you chose, it would pretty much give you an alternate of the same exact response. And it changed nothing. Can that be argued for Mass Effect? The original trilogy? Yes, but they were going in the right direction before they got bought by EA. Who knows? If they hadn't got bought by EA, the third game would have actually probably paid off all the things that they've promised from the beginning, which is why they were so popular and so big, because everyone wanted to see what that would end like. But sorry, let's continue. Rant
I
over.
use this all the time because, to be honest, it's the easiest one to use. When you have Tosh,
Oh yeah, but actually, in hijacking the franchise as opposed to just using them as little memes and advertisements, it's very, very different.
you know, sitting down with her mother and the main character, and there's an awkward 10 to 15 seconds of silence. And then all of a sudden she hits you with, so I'm non-binary. That is putting in real world politics into a video game. And I already know what the counter is going to be. They're going to say, well, my identity is not political. Well, unfortunately for you, the party that you vote for decided to make your identity political when they constantly utilize your identity to push their own certain politics. So that's not my fault. That's your party's fault.
I was going on a Google search here, and what is this, Yahoo search? I don't know. It looks like Yahoo search. Yeah, Yahoo search. But so I was looking up the 34 felonies, and I looked it up because Tim Pool's the one I always hear talking about it. I can't remember who he cited, so I was trying to look for that. And then I come over here, and all these people also search for, but look at this one. Ben Shapiro. That's not Ben Shapiro. That's the worst picture of Candace Owens I've ever seen, probably, and that's an awful picture of Caitlyn. Why do they make the ugliest pictures here? But that's not even Ben Shapiro. That might be a Shapiro, but it's not Ben Shapiro for sure. That's just hilarious. That's so fucking mean and hilarious because I don't care, because I don't have allegiance to either of these people. I just happen to agree with Republicans more right now because they're being less crazy. But if you keep kicking all this shit up, eventually they're going to stop being nice about things. And right now, yes, this is them being nice. If they wanted to go full retard like y'all went during Biden's presidency, then they would, and y'all would really be sad. But you know what's funny? A lot of the celebrities that y'all worship so much, they fled. Some of them are even applying for citizenship in countries that have less freedom than we do. Ireland, Italy, so on and so forth. Let's not even get into it. What was it? Keyless that went to Africa? My God.
You need to figure that out. But yes, no, that's what they do. They literally have been putting this stuff into video games for years now, which is the entire reason why there is a counterculture.
Years, I tell you, years.
There's the entire reason why this stuff exists. This is the entire reason why PC gamer or people like them don't exist anymore. Right? Very few.
Yes.
There has been over 1,200 gaming journalists that have lost their jobs since 2024. That is 1/4 of the amount of supposed gaming journalists in the world. That is a lot of them. And they've lost their job because they can't help themselves. Almost all of them have decided to make this into a political thing. When at the end of the day, it's literally just a meme. That's all it is. So if the shoe was on the other foot, we would be seeing Donald Trump in the game. That is when you could say, okay, the shoe's on the other foot. But until then, if Halo ends up just being Halo, then you can't say the shoe is on the other foot. All you're doing is complaining about the meme. So then we have Khalif Adams over here, positivity peddler, as he likes to call himself. Halo and Helldivers being used by this administration to rally young men for ICE and military recruitment sounds like all that get your politics out of my games never really made a lot of sense. And again, guys, this is why, like, I can't with this guy. I can't. He's another one where I don't follow him. I don't look at his posts, but every once in a while, his posts will pop up.
I mean, he's a Khalif in the wind.
It happens to be relevant. And because this Halo thing is going viral right now, I'm seeing a whole bunch of responses by people I don't follow on my X profile. I really wish X didn't do that. I got to figure out if there's a way to curate it. But regardless, sometimes I like seeing other points of view, so I just let it rock. Regardless, anyway, this doesn't make any sense, my guy. This doesn't make any sense because, again, if the shoe was on the other foot, right? If it never really made a lot of sense to you, there is no Trump politics in Halo. There is nothing inside of the game. If you had Trump in the game, that would be a different argument. That would be a different story. We 100%. Have that conversation.
And I'd be 100% against it. I hate when they put stuff shitting on Trump in these things. I would absolutely hate it if they put stuff in there guzzling Trump, or what's it? What the kids say now? Glazing. If there was glazing Trump in it, I would hate that just as much. I don't want politics, at least direct politics. Now, if you want to use some kind of euphemism, innuendo, and all these subtle writing tricks that a lot of people these days seem to lack, I don't even remember what they're called because it's been so long since people have actually used them and used them properly that I don't remember what the motherfuckers are called. That, and it's, not even 8 o'clock in the morning yet. But having him in there personally, it's just ridiculous. Like having, Stacey Abrams in an episode, what was it, Star Trek? They had Stacey Abrams in Star Trek. And especially as much as they hate on Trump for not letting go of that election, Stacey Abrams was sure held up for running around saying that she was robbed of the Georgia election. Get stuffed. You don't care about the thing. You only care about it's someone else who's doing the thing. Because when you're doing the exact same thing, you tend to be cool with it. And this goes to both sides. I don't want to hear it.
But as of right now, you're getting a Halo remake of Halo. You're not getting a Halo remake with Trump in it, but that is how they're acting. So let me scroll down. Politics referencing cool stuff is fine. Cool stuff becoming lame to incorporate cringe politics is bad. Hope that clears that up. Exactly. Right?
Yes.
You have political figures referencing culture, right? In this case, talking about Master Chief. These are political figures referencing culture. That is not the same.
Do I find it as cringe as Hillary Clinton dabbing? No. Because I know that it's one of his staffers doing it for one thing. It's not Donald Trump himself. They may have shown him and he's like, cool. I like the armor. I don't do a good Trump impression. I apologize, but it's not him doing it. Would it be funny if Trump was on the toilet and he was actually a low-key Halo fan? That would be hilarious. But it's not the same as watching Hillary Clinton, a 65, 70-year-old woman, dabbing it up on Ellen DeGeneres' show, was 10, 15 years ago. What are we even talking about?
As politics being put inside of culture or inside of video games, basically, because that's what we're talking about. It is not the same. That is not the same. That will never be the same, right? But for some reason, I don't know if they're being disingenuous, or I don't know if they're really just angry. I really have no, maybe they're trolling. I have no idea. But there's no way that I can believe that this person doesn't understand the difference. There's no way. I mean, these posts from the White House are absolutely cringe. No, you don't. No, you don't. You said up here that you're trying to reference that people who claim all the time to get their politics out of games are suddenly celebrating the Master Chief being Trump. You're trying to make that connection because you get constantly yelled at for advocating for putting politics inside video games. So you're trying to say, well, look at
I'll let him finish his point. Sorry.
But they're not. They're not doing the same thing at all. And you know they're not. So in any case, pendulum.
And that's the thing. You can tell that these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. These are the same people who conflate that people want to deport illegal aliens. They're the same people who call it undocumented citizens. They're not citizens. They're at best they're undocumented migrants. But they're illegal aliens. They aren't talking about all people who come here from other countries by any stretch of the imagination. Anyone who comes here, legal asylees, for one thing, who do it the right way, who go to the first non-hostile country, I think it is fine, 100%. But no one should be able to pass through Mexico because technically Mexico is not a hostile nation to anyone else currently, as far as I know. But at the same time, these are the people who conflate refugees and such, and all people, immigrants is the word I'm looking for. My God, all immigrants with illegal immigrants. Now, yes, are there people on the right who don't like all immigrants? Yes, there's assholes in every community, in every group, especially a large group. What's it, 45% of Americans roughly are Republican. So roughly 40% of over 300 million people. You're going to have a lot of gaping anuses in that group. That's just a fact. Yes, even if you lowballed it and said 0.01% are gaping anuses, that's still several thousand, tens of thousands of people are gaping anuses out of 300 million. I'm just saying. And the squeakiest wheel gets the lube or whatever it is. that seems to be like stop giving these people the attention that they so desperately crave. That's the biggest thing. That, and especially when it comes to the left, these kids aren't told no, ever. Ever, ever, ever. It's the same kind of assholes that you get on the right. Remember the kid growing up back in the 90s who never, ever, ever got told no, and he was a giant douchebag? And funny thing is, he's probably on the left now.
Swings both ways. Yeah, we cheering this stuff when the prior administration did these kind of things, and when leftist ideology is pretty much all in our games, you got to be able to take it if you can dish it. Again, it's not in the games. If it was in the games,
Yeah.
we would have a different conversation right now, but it's not in the games. So I don't.
Yeah, if it was in the games, I would be losing my shit along with Angry Joe and the rest of these retards. But I'm not, because it's not.
Understand where the melting down is coming from. I don't understand where the freak out is coming from. Then he says this will make sense if this were true, but it isn't. What do you mean it's not?
What?
What do you mean it's not? There is no Donald Trump inside of Halo. There is no Republican Party inside of Halo.
I mean, in the meme, there's a Donald Trump inside of Master Chief's armor, but inside the game, Khalif is a positivity peddler. He's more of a retard wrangler.
What are you talking about? I don't understand. Brandon says, get your politics out of...
I love how these people always claim that they're an advocate for positivity when they're the most negative motherfuckers you've ever seen in your life.
Whatever pretty much only applies when people don't agree with your politics, but don't know how to articulate that, or simply know that I'm articulating
Is that
it perfectly fine.
BD stand for Brandon Davis? Brandon Davis, Brandon Davis? Stupid.
I should say I do understand the difference, but they don't seem to understand the difference. Khalif says, yep. Also, dude, your career is super inspiring and love seeing you crush it out there. Massive amounts of respect to you. You just can't help mooing. Just can't help mooing. Of course not. Then Golden Silver says the obvious, right? Yep. None of this will be in the next Halo game. You were just going out about your Ivy League degrees and wondering why someone said they were worthless. I realize, though, that this is more so a disingenuous internet points post and not something thought out. 100%. And if nobody liked your post, I will be the first one to do so, because that is a banger fucking post, my guy. And he says, no one made the point you made. So this response makes no sense. The fact that
yes,
the
you
same
did.
administration that is using gaming to bolster recruitment while also saying gaming is an avenue for mass shootings is ironic. Dude, oh my God.
The Trump administration's never said that.
Using everything to bolster recruitment.
Now, at least not as far as I know. No one in the Trump administration has made that claim. And if Pam Bondi said it, I don't count her as a person. I don't. She's the worst. She's like Candace Owens. She's basically a lefty, but she's on the right for some reason. Or she's an old school rightist. The ones that are in power. I really think she's there just to tank Donald Trump. Like, yeah, you got free reign this time around, but you're going to have this ankle bracelet that shocks you and stabs you every now and then.
Okay. Just because they made a couple of posts featuring pop culture, popular icons like Pokemon and Halo, they use other things as well. They use other things. I don't. Oh my God. Do you really think that the government is using Pokemon to recruit for ICE when some of the wokest people on the planet are some of the biggest fans of Pokemon? What the fuck? So what are you saying about the fan base of the franchises? Are you saying that all of them would just be so easily swindled? You really mean to tell me that somebody's going to go out there and join ICE right now because they saw Trump as Master Chief and they can't control themselves? You really think that's what's going to happen? Somebody's going to go out there right now and say, I need to join ICE because I saw Donald Trump as Master Chief. Are you serious right now? There's no way that we're really doing this right. Anyway, let's scroll down. I do agree that it is stupid, though. The last part he said was true.
Look, shit like this, while sure admirable, it's not a grassroots campaign for one thing. And two, just being something that billionaires oppose. Yes, it sounds awesome to oppose it, but look at why they're opposing it. And then call me when you actually read. I swear, for the educated, for the science-based side, that's always been the science-based side, why is the left retarded now?
You know, you had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or whatever. He was saying that you know, gaming is an avenue for mass shootings and stuff. It's so stupid. But anyway, we've always talked against that. There is a real difference. The politicians are using the games as tools. The politics themselves aren't being put in the games. I mean, how this should be sincerely, like, again, this should be the only comment. And then he says, not yet. So I want you guys to understand, Booty Adams, Khalif Adams genuinely believes that they are going to start putting Republican propaganda or Donald Trump or whatever in Halo. Like, he said not yet. So that's what that tells me. That's what that tells me. He genuinely believes that it's going to be in that. And even if it was, you guys were the ones that were advocating for it. It was us that were advocating against it. I would advocate it against it as well. It would be different if it's a game like Fortnite, for example, that has skins of all popular people, right? People all throughout history, all kinds of people are in Fortnite. You even have Eminem in Fortnite, for fuck's sakes, right? So you have
Eminem's in Fortnite?
That would be a little bit different. But a game like Halo, that would be kind of stupid, right? I think everybody, like, sure, there'll be some people that will meme it. They would think it's a joke. But ultimately, yeah, like, that's not going to happen. You know that's not going to happen. So you're pretending to be so upset over this when you already know this is not going to be a thing.
This right here is not any kind of dunk, because while she's not the best of speakers, anybody debating AOC would get dunked on, would dunk on her. That's just a fact. AOC's not a good speaker. Even in her speeches, you can see she's reading off the cards. She doesn't know enough about anything to have any kind of real debate about anything. All she'll do is throw out a bunch of talking points, a lot of buzzwords, and people will cheer because, oh, she said thing about thing. I don't understand.
Angry Joe, really quick. Angry Joe didn't just have a meltdown about, the White House or whatever. And again, I apologize for showcasing, the levels of meltdown that's going on here. But he decided to go after... I mean, listen, he's also like, disorder unleashed. I'm sick of this shit. Refuse, resist. He's listening to metal music and trying to be like, yeah, metal. Yeah. You know what I mean? There is an interesting dynamic of metal. I watch Wyatt's Metal on YouTube a lot. And there's an interesting level of metal that is extremely woke, apparently. And they are just, it went from Rage Against the Machine to Rage with the Machine. It's a very weird thing. But anyway. So he obviously did not like what Jeremy had to say, right? D-Day Cobra with the fat JD Vance and the Spartan armor thing. Like he didn't like what he had to say. So he said the following, and I like when people take something that's completely irrelevant and turn it into the same argument, or try to. It's like, I don't know why we're doing this, but okay, we're gonna do it. So let's do it. He says, still waiting for those Epstein files you were so pissed off and worked up about earlier a few weeks ago, right, Jeremy? Or have they convinced you to forget about him so easily already? LOL. Lowest presidential approval ratings ever, aside from Nixon. Keep winning, y'all. Oh my God, bro.
I mean, you'll see.
I think Angry Joe is just gone. I'm serious.
If people keep saying stuff like this, they're gonna look the same they did in the last election, in the midterms. I'm just saying.
I hate to say it, as a fan of, or a former fan of Angry Joe's content. And I already know Angry Joe is the kind of person that will tell me, well, if you don't like me anymore, fuck you, don't watch my content. I already know that. And that's fine, because I've already stopped a long time ago, like over a year already.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie anymore. I really only watch for Alex, even though I know he would probably hate me too. But Alex's opinions are close to mine. And I really think, as much as Alex seems like a free-spirited person, I really think that he would probably only hate me, even though we have similar views on everything, minus one or two things. But those one or two things are big enough for him to probably want to do to me what he did to Joel when he was dressed up as the girl from Last of Us Part 2. Anyway, continue.
It's insane, bro. TDS really should be studied. It should be studied because this is massive levels of it. I really don't know why we are having this level of a reaction to a meme. It's not in the game. I don't get it. I don't know if it's because he's Hispanic, so maybe he feels more personally affected by what he perceives ICE to be doing. I'm Hispanic, and I don't feel the same way. So I get it, but I don't understand. So anyway, he decides to go after Jeremy. Let's see if Jeremy responded out of curiosity. I'm sure he probably did. Awesome. Since you're so focused on this, can't wait to hear your report back after you read all 33,000 pages that was released last month. Thanks, Joe. Looking forward to a full breakdown from you, angel emoji. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge fan of Jeremy, but that was
I'm not
good.
even gonna bother. I'm gonna let that burn stay where it's at. And of course, as the prototypical anybody in the gaming industry has to absolutely target Grums. Not to say that sometimes Grums doesn't deserve it. You know, we've disagreed with what he's said sometimes in the past, but every once in a while, it's always a thing, right? When you run out of targets to beat up, what do the Wokies do? They beat up Grums. when they run out of targets, they beat up Grums. So anyway, Grums ended up making a post, and he said he's still mad about Superman.
I mean, Grums
guess,
is crumbs.
right?
Let's be
Now,
honest.
the reason why I find this post to be really interesting
I like him
is
okay,
because
but
he says the following: Superman? What the fuck you talking about? Superman was great. But seriously, aren't you that sad, lonely, failed game developer turned online grifter? LOL. How's your game coming along these days? Not well, it seems. Still ripping people off? You are what's wrong with the industry. It's why you were fired and ostracized. Fun fact is that Angry Joe, who, when replying to Grums, said that Superman was great, was fact-checked by people who watched his videos and actually posted, unironically, a screenshot that I don't know if it's still here of his review of Superman, where he gave it a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10 for his Angry Joe review. But apparently it was great. But I was like, bro, you rated it slightly above average. You know what I mean? So why are you changing the narrative because it's Grums? Like, don't change the narrative because it's Grums. Like, just it's a 6 out of 10. You said it's a 6 out of 10. Like, what are we doing here, right? So obviously everybody started.
Well, and as someone who's watched Angry Joe for years, 5 is average. Five is average. It's not like your grades for getting out of school. 5 is average in his grading scale. So 6 is slightly above average for him. Not great, but just throwing out some perspective there.
Starts replying. Grum says, "Why do you support criminals coming into your country, Joe? Is it fair to everyone who went through the legal immigration process? Do you think they should vote without being citizens? Is it wrong to deport gang members and drug dealers? Should we just open borders to everyone all the time? Just how many million per year is acceptable to you? Or is there no limit? Do you think it's okay to assault and target ICE agents and shoot at them? Are you not angry about it? You're angry about ICE. So why don't you tell us about it?" Bro, what the fuck? What the
Shitty
fuck is
Vance
this?
memes,
oh
man.
my God, dude. Hey, deport that guy. I thought you said it was mediocre. Again, people are saying from his original review that he claimed it was mediocre, right?
And
he could have changed it at some point in the future.
He said
could
for a
have said,
Superman movie it was mediocre, but still 6 out of 10
I
is.
feel like it's a 9 out of 10. I feel like it's an 8 out of 10. Your first review said it was a 6 out of 10. So you can't say that it was great when people saw your first review and know that you felt a certain way about the movie. But again, whatever. I don't care. That's your review, bro. I don't really give a fuck. You want to rate it a 6, whatever. I don't care about Superman. So you do your thing. So people are just saying that he's crashing out, and I think he is. I think at this point, this is a massive level of crash out. People are just like, "What are you doing, bro?" It's funny watching you crash out. People are laughing at you. You're a loser. I don't think he's a loser, but taking the side of drug hustlers, rapists, and murderers who are incapable of making life better for anyone. Should have just kept your head down and making shitty YouTube videos. Again, I don't think they're shitty. I'm just being real with you. I don't think he's shitty. But you know, I think the TDS is definitely it's taking over. That's what that's basically what I want to say about this. The TDS is definitely taking over, and at this point, we need to study it. It needs to be studied. I really just want there to be a place where we can have a discourse without there being names of grifter, blah, blah, whatever being thrown around. But I know we're never going to get to that point, and I understand that. But again, Angry Joe, the TDS, just log off, bro. Just make videos again.
Yeah.
That's it. Just keep making videos. You make good videos, in my opinion. You make really good reviews.
He really does.
Just do that, right? I'm not saying,
and especially the little skit between the big ones,
like,
and at the beginning of big ones,
and they're just having fucking meltdowns over a meme. I can understand if Trump was being put inside of Halo. I can understand.
And again,
that,
I'd freak out if that happened too. 100%.
But it's a meme, bro. It's a meme. Come on,
it's a meme.
What are we doing? Anyway, you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about all this? Do you think he's crashing out? Do you think he's valid in his complaints over Donald Trump as Master Chief? Do you think Khalif Adam is valid in his theory that they're going to put right-wing Republican political things into video games now? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it,
I did. And y'all make sure you go over and check out Hypnotic's channel. He does good work. He gets a little too overly meh into it sometimes, but overall, I think he's all right. But I don't know, guys. Just make sure. Look, don't lose your mind until you know enough about something to have an honest opinion about it. Don't just freak out because you saw a thing on TikTok, saw a thing on Reels, on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever. Most of those are edited out of context to piss you off or to get you to applaud something without knowing what the fuck it is. And that's just a fact. 9 times out of 10, I say go 20 seconds before and 20 seconds after in the original unedited video. And if you don't get your answer there, then try all the way out to a minute, maybe 2. Go by 20-second intervals or whatever. But most of the time, the same thing, and this is, people will get mad at me for pointing this out yet again, but the great people on, or the fine people on both sides hoax. It was a hoax. He said it. He was talking about the regular people who were just there, and he said these exact words. He said, when it comes to the people who are there to protest for and against, there are fine people on both sides. And then he almost immediately said, I do not mean the neo-Nazis and white supremacists who should be condemned completely. That's almost verbatim what exactly he said. And then they said he would never condemn it, and he repeatedly condemned it just in the weeks following that, and did it for at least a year after that. Every time someone brought it up, he's like, you want me to say it? I condemn it. And then people were just like, oh, it took them so long they had to drag it out of him. And then they went back to pretending like he never said it again. This is why, this is the main reason right there, why I have to defend conservatives so much, because my side, the side that's supposed to be mine, is full of shitheel retard grifters who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I've got no love for Trump. The man does a lot of stuff that I disagree with, mostly involving Pam Bondi, as we all know. But the man is lied on constantly, straight up lied on. Not just by MSNBC, but by CNN as well. A lot of stuff out there is true, but you have to sift through the shit to find out what's actually shit and what's just chocolate cake. I don't know what that means, but it sounded dope in my mind, and it didn't sound so great when it came out. But that's all from me. Guys, just make sure you educate yourself, and if you don't have the time to educate yourself, then you don't have the time to be mad about shit. I'm sorry. I don't even do a lot of research, but I do enough to make sure that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Even when I forget words, I apologize for that earlier. But I am going to look it up, and who knows, if someone brings it up in the chat, I'll bring it up on the next show. But I will look it up, and I'll probably post it on X for those of you who follow me on X. But y'all, please go over, follow me on Rumble, even if you don't want to watch me on Rumble. I understand, but I need a few more followers so I can stream over there, so I can divert most of my politics to that page. I might just start putting clips over there until I actually get a natural following, but it's hard. But guys, from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot. Especially those of you that watch live, I appreciate you. Those of you who watch later when the video is posted naturally, I very much appreciate y'all. Y'all getting my view count and my time viewed count all the way up. I should be monetized by the time I hit an actual year of daily posts. It's not going to be by the end of the year like I was hoping. I thought it was going to be easier than it actually was. It is not, because I'm a retard and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm working on it. And I appreciate y'all being here on this journey with me. But y'all get out there. Y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all for tomorrow's show. And hopefully